Dream Team, it's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with why Starbucks failed in Australia. Before we jump into this, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. What we got?
Starbucks has coffee shops all over the world. There are more than 28,000 locations in 76 markets, from Shanghai to Guantanamo Bay. And in China, a new Starbucks location opens up every 15 hours.
Every 15 hours. So China, do y'all love Starbucks more than the US? I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible because Americans love Starbucks like they need it to survive. Like they're addicted to it. Like they can't function without it. I don't like coffee of any sort, but so many Americans like when you go to a store maybe near Starbucks and you see that Starbucks line, it's insanity.
But there is one continent that seems uninterested in the hype over the Seattle-based coffee chain. And that continent is Australia. It's proven to be one of the toughest markets in the world to break into. So tough, in fact, that Starbucks closed more than 2/3 of its stores on the continent back in 2008.
Dang.
So what went so wrong with Starbucks in Australia? To answer that, let's go.
I know the answer. Australians didn't think this is quality coffee. And on top of not being quality coffee, they probably thought this coffee's overpriced to not be quality coffee. They said, we the best coffee country in the world. Know what I'm saying? We got cafes on every corner, on every block with absolutely amazing coffee. So why would we go to Starbucks, spend all this money on overpriced coffee when we have better coffee on every block? All right, talk to me.
Go back to July of 2000, when Starbucks opened its first Australian shop in Sydney. From there, it expanded fast. By 2008, Starbucks had 87 stores across the continent.
Dang.
I think one of the problems for Starbucks, and it's true for a lot of businesses that have been successful in one country, is that they thought that their business model could just roll out to a different environment and there was no need for them to adjust.
But that was the problem. It tried to grow the empire too fast. Starbucks rapidly opened up multiple locations instead of slowly integrating them into the Australian market.
When they launched too rapidly and didn't give the Australian consumer an opportunity to really develop an appetite for the Starbucks brand. They also moved into regional areas, into outer suburbs of major cities. And so for the Australian consumer, it was almost like it was too available for them. And so there wasn't this point of difference, this want, this need for Starbucks, and it wasn't an organic growth, which is what we very much saw in the US.
In its first 7 years in Australia,
I mean, that does make sense, right? They just came over there and said, let's throw out all the locations ASAP. Know what I'm saying? They love this Starbucks coffee everywhere else. They're going to love it in Australia. So if you build it, they will come. That's probably what they was thinking.
Starbucks accumulated $105 million in losses.
Oh, God.
By 2007,
dang.
Starbucks Australia was hanging on by a thread, taking big loans from the US, totaling up to $54 million. And in 2008, Starbucks announced it was shutting down 61 stores. But of course, 2008 was a difficult time for businesses due to the financial crisis. Along with the Australia closures, Starbucks also closed 600 underperforming American stores.
Oh, wow.
But even still, such a retreat in Australia was embarrassing for the brand.
When you're shutting down 75 stores, for the Australian consumer, when they did leave the market, or at least a large number of their stores were shut down, they didn't really care.
It's partly because Australians are spoiled for choice when it comes to coffee. Australia's coffee market is one of the biggest in the world. The industry is expected to hit more than $6 billion in total revenue in 2018. They've been immersed in nuances of cafe culture since the mid-1900s, when Italian and Greek immigrants began traveling to the country. The immigrants introduced Australians to espresso. By the 1980s, Australians were fully engulfed in cafe culture. They've also grown accustomed to specialty menu items, like a flat white or an Australian macchiato.
So cafes and
That coffee just look, and I don't even like coffee, and it just look good, and it just look golden. It just chef's kiss. You feel me? But yeah. They said so. Starbucks start closing the doors. Cool. We wasn't going there anyway. Still going to our cafes. We already got incredible coffee.
In Australia, we're born out of like the Italian culture of, meeting a friend and knowing your local barista and it being kind of like a local meeting place where everyone knew each other, and that coffee was just a part of that. And then Starbucks came in with what is more of an American style like coffee culture, which is essentially just like coffee is a product, coffee is a commodity, coffee is like perk me up in the morning. It's caffeination.
Starbucks had a basic menu.
Yeah, American culture is more like coffee, like, hey, drive through, we not sitting down, stopping, we not meeting up. Hey, I just want to drive through, get my coffee, and get up out of here. I need my caffeination to start the day. You feel me? It's not no, hey, let's go meet up. Let's grab a cup of coffee. Some people do that, but more often than not, you're just like going through the drive-through or you're going in, getting your coffee to go. You just need that caffeination, and you'll be on your way.
And offered more sugary drinks, which most Australians didn't like.
In Australia, where local tastes are different, so we don't really want a coffee that's hundreds of ounces with lots of sugar in it. We want something a bit more sophisticated.
Plus, Starbucks charged more than local cafes. So Australians instead opted to pay less for coffee they liked from a local barista they trusted.
And so when you come in with this big like, hey, we're going to open all these cafes and they're all going to be to-go focused, it just was the complete wrong market for what the Australian was used to.
But there's one American coffee.
I feel that, and I told you, that overpriced coffee. And then on top of that, they got coffee that they like more that's cheaper than your coffee. So I'm telling you, Starbucks coffee is overpriced, but I guess over here the customer's willing to pay for it, so they can keep them prices.
Coffee company that's thriving in Australia. Founded in Chicago and now based in Australia, Gloria Jean's got the traction in Australia that Starbucks couldn't. Gloria Jean's has more than 400 Australian locations and serves more than 35 million consumers in Australia each year. So what is Gloria Jean's doing in Australia that Starbucks isn't? Well, the company attributes its success to two Australians who franchised the business in their home country. Shops started to show up in Australia in 1996. Fast forward to today, the company has a presence in every Australian state. The reason? Its menu. The chain offers a wide variety of espresso drinks and specialty coffee. Failing to adapt its menu to Australians' coffee culture proved to be a mistake for Starbucks. And the company faces another challenge later this year: Italy. Starbucks is opening its first store in Milan in late 2018. Home of the espresso, Italy is rich in cafe culture. But according to Starbucks, it's not going to make the same mistakes that it did in Australia. The company said that it would develop in Italy with humility and respect for its coffee culture. It announced it would be opening a roastery, which is not your average cafe. It gives customers a chance to see coffee beans roasted and processed before their eyes. So there's a chance that it won't struggle like it did in Australia. But Starbucks isn't admitting defeat in Australia either. Starbucks is staging a comeback on the continent. In 2014, Starbucks locations in Australia were purchased by the Mount Waverly-based Withers Group. Starbucks told CNBC that since its sale to the Withers Group, the company learned a lot. So this time, it's taken a different approach to putting Starbucks on the continent.
So if you just think about Australia's a big tourism destination, there's a lot of US and Chinese tourists. Starbucks have been very successful in China, and it makes a lot of sense for them to build out because there are people looking for something that's familiar to them.
Now with 39 locations in Brisbane, Melbourne, the Gold Coast, and Sydney areas, this time it's not looking to appeal to Australians. But instead, the coffee giant hopes to be a familiar face for tourists visiting popular vacation destinations in Australia.
That is smart. That is smart. Very smart, because it's like, all right, we understand. Australians ain't really rocking with us. They got their coffee spots. Our coffee too expensive, and it's probably not as good as they coffee. So we gonna hit up all the tourists from America, from China, from these different countries that Starbucks is very popular in. Because when they go to Australia, they go tour, right? They looking for something familiar. They looking for something that they know. Are they willing to take that risk on something that they don't know to possibly not enjoy it? Or are you going for the guarantee of something that you know you'll enjoy? I see the game plan.
Australia's always been a high volume tourist market. The same thing in terms of international students at our universities, potential opportunities for them. And we're starting to see Starbucks enter into some large shopping malls here in Australia as well.
Australia welcomed 9 million tourists from 2017 to 2018, and those international visitors spent more than $30 billion in 2017 alone. So tourists could possibly be the key to keeping the company afloat and preventing another downfall.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, or you want to comment about this video? Tell me what you think of Starbucks. Go ahead and drop it down there. Make sure you subscribe. Ring the notification bell as well. It's your boy Neal. Out.